Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics.
So it's your understanding that you and Randy Boissonnault and Mr. Anderson are 50-50 partners in the company.
That is not correct. The shares are held by 2256956 Alberta Limited.
Who owns that numbered
I
company?
do.
Cute.
Oh, yeah.
I think, sir, that I made my point in terms of evidence versus politics versus conjecture. This is not a witch hunt. This is a function that any opposition member, particularly at this committee, would want to do, determine who this other Randy is. That is the $64 million question.
Minister, have you read the Conflict of Interest Act?
Mr. Chair, I've read sections of the Conflict of Interest Act, but more importantly, when I transitioned from public life, from private life to public life, I spent numerous meetings, numerous phone calls with the team at the Conflict of Interest so that my business interests could be wrapped up in a way that meets all obligations under the Act. And, Mr. Chair, if I can point to these two stories in the press, they indicate that I followed my obligations,
Minister,
and that is what's on the record.
Minister, I asked you a question. You said you did read the Conflict of Interest Act. Good.
And clearly the lack of ring of truth, as I've indicated. So on the issue of what was reported this morning in the global news, did you take it upon yourself to reach out to your former partner and ask for clarification as to who this other Randy was?
So, Mr. Brock, on that particular point,
yes
I have no
or no, sir? Did you reach? I've got 3 minutes.
In a cabinet of serial lawbreakers, the minister from Edmonton is showing that after 9 years of this NDP Liberal government that this Prime Minister isn't worth the corruption. This is the minister who's been cashing checks from a lobbying firm that's lobbying his own government. And Global News revealed text messages that show a Randy involved in a $500,000 fraud case is at the minister's company. So it's a really simple question, and we haven't been able to get an answer. Maybe the government House leader can tell us today. Why won't they tell us what Randy's last name is?
Another day, and we're still waiting for the Minister of Employment to introduce us to other Randy, the one who was cashing checks from a company that was lobbying the government, winning contracts, and using the minister's name to do it. That's not allowed. It's illegal. The text messages reveal that someone named Randy at the minister's company was part of a $500,000 fraud. So will the employment minister finally get up on his feet and tell everyone the super secret identity of the other Randy?
The Honourable Minister for Employment and Workforce Development.
Mr. Speaker, I am all too happy to set the record straight. I have had no role in this company since being elected in 2021. Regarding the day in question, I have shared my phone records to the committee and with the commissioner, which confirms that I am not the person in this story. Mr. Speaker, I have said it. The companies have said it. And now I've proved it. I was not involved. Mr. Speaker, let's get back to working for Canadians and focusing on the real issues.
Mr. Chair, I wholeheartedly agree with my colleague, Mr. Barrett's suggestions to the other opposition members, and I just want to clarify a couple of loose threads that I think need to be focused in. Canadians watching this may be left with the impression that there's really nothing to see here, that Global News had conducted a most thorough investigation on their own, and the Liberal bench, including the Prime Minister, has satisfied all the queries that opposition members have made on this issue. But this is a serious matter. And to Mr. Barrett's point, I know that good governance and high ethical standards is a very elusive concept for this NDP Liberal government. But it's not for Canadians. And the allegations are really damning that a minister who had been a minister for close to a year is communicating via a device to a company demanding within so many minutes a $500,000 payment to a company that he still has a 50% interest in. The text message made it clear that there ought to be a partners meeting. Minister Boissonnault confirmed that he views himself as a partner. This was a two-partner company. What concerns me is that the Liberal bench can clear this up, could have cleared this up the moment the issue rose by simply identifying the surname of this other Randy. And it just amazes me to the length by which the Liberal government will go to conceal the identity of this other Randy. And for the Canadians who are watching this, they're saying to themselves, well, what's the big deal? If it's not Minister Boissonnault, then identify the person. But when you've got every Liberal member literally on this committee, as well as Liberal members in the House, dodging and deflecting and not answering the question that's on the mind of Canadians, clear this up. Why are we wasting government resources and arguing this, and with filibustering that's happening not only today, but happening last week as well? Government, or Canadians want government to work, and when they see the kind of gamemanship that's happening right now, and the attempts to not shed any sort of transparency and light on this is extremely concerning. And to answer the question of Mr. Fisher, that this committee has never been designed to be a judge and jury, well, of course not. But our role as parliamentarians is to ask the tough questions. Some of us could have more skills than others in asking the questions, probing questions that might ultimately elicit a response from a commissioner and or provide the basis by which we would extend an invitation.
Hey gang, so there we go, another wild and crazy committee video. We always get to see the best here. Larry Brock, Shannon Stubbs, Rick Perkins, Michael Barrett, Michael Cooper, Melissa Lanceman, Josh Raj Halon. There's a long list, guys. I just mentioned only a few of the names. These committee videos, guys, are wild. We'll be covering Canadian federal politics, sharing that with you. Like, subscribe, share, get notified, all those fun things. Leave a comment. I do love the comments. That's it. We'll be back with more information to share and probably another committee video or two coming down the pipes. Remember to like and subscribe. It does help. My name's Aaron. This is Question Period Canada. Catch you next video. Thank you for watching this one.